Christmas time is here, which means I've had these two songs stuck in my head 24/7 this entire holiday season. And I recently put out a poll on Instagram asking people which song they preferred, and it actually turned out to be really, really close. It was basically a 50-50 split, and these two songs are very different artistically, which tells me that there is something about each song that really connects with a specific kind of listener and what they look for in music. These two songs really, in my opinion, illustrate the two very different writing styles of McCartney and Lennon. And the reason why these songs are so popular is they both had a specific style that really, really worked with listeners. So Christmas is a very reflective time, which is natural because it's at the end of the year and everybody's looking back on what happened. And it's also a very cozy and comforting month. And those are the two sides of Christmas that are shown in these two songs. And they also perfectly show the two very different songwriting styles of Lennon and McCartney. So let's look at both the first set of lyrics in these songs. So with The Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney, it starts with, the mood is right, the spirit's up, we're here tonight, and that's enough. And compare that with War is Over. John Lennon says, so this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And I think already it establishes two very different sides of Lennon and McCartney. So you have McCartney, who is describing external, situations and happenings, versus Lennon, who is almost asking the listener to reflect. I've always seen McCartney's writing style as more external and Lennon's as more internal. And I think the opening set of lyrics for these songs show that perfectly. I think this also reflects the tone and the mood of both songwriters. In McCartney's case, his songs are about creating a very positive atmosphere that is, playful and light. But when it comes to Lennon, there's almost this darker, introspective feeling to his songs that really forces the listener to think deeply. And this isn't to say that Lennon only wrote serious songs and McCartney only wrote happy songs. I think both artists were capable of writing either kind of song, but if you look at their general songwriting trends, McCartney tends to be on the lighter side and Lennon is definitely on the darker side. And I think these two songs pretty much prove that point. Let's now look at the chorus of both songs. And I think both of these choruses really show the simplicity of both songwriters. And I love the Beatles for that. I think they're a very simple band at times, and that's why they're effective. And in these two songs you have Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. And then you have the War is Over, A Very Merry Christmas, and A Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one, without any fear. And this also shows the political activism of John Lennon and how he was trending more towards being a figure, against the Vietnam War, against just suffering in the world in general. And you have, on the other side, McCartney, who, for most of his life, stayed out of the political spotlight. And if you look at a lot of the songs that McCartney wrote, either for the Beatles or as a solo artist, you can see that his songs weren't politically driven. There weren't a lot of messages, but he rather focused on characters and stories. Take, for example, songs like Penny Lane, Obla Di Obla Da, Hey Jude, Rocky Raccoon. They're all about stories and they're external based. They're about situations and happenings that McCartney is writing about. For Lennon, it's far more personal, and he became a huge activist, like in the late 60s, early 70s, and that Christmas song that he wrote is a reflection of the activism he was taking part in and his own internal beliefs about what the world could be. And this is not to say either style is worse or better than the others, it's just different. And they both reflect a different feeling that everyone can have around Christmas time. Everybody can be reflective and think about the past year, and everybody can also have a really chill time. A lot of people that commented on that post would agree with me that these are two very different Christmas songs, and it's for good reason. There's two different vibes that these artists are going for. I think one purpose of music and art is to provide us with comfort, and McCartney does that. And I also think another purpose of art is to really make us reflect on our lives and things we could do better. And that's what Lennon achieves in his song. So overall, these Christmas songs reflect their core artistic personalities. And we need those two sides of art, I believe. We need the kind of the happy-go-lucky, the poppy, melodic, very light and positive side of McCartney's music. And we also need the reflective, introspective, and deep tone of John Lennon. And I think that's part of the reason the Beatles were so successful, because, and I'm not trying to disregard George or Ringo or their contributions, and that could be another video, but I think the Beatles had so many different artistic sides to them, and that's why they are the greatest band of all time. Alright everybody, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content today, and I think in the future I'm going to make some sort of video related to this about Lennon and McCartney's different writing styles and show different songs throughout the Beatles' career that I think exemplify that. I hope you have a good day, and Merry Christmas.